Andy grew his last business to $1 million in annual revenue and sold it for 7 figures. But even more impressive is that he did this in just 12 months, didn't use any of his own money, and his co-founders actually reached out to him.
Got together with those guys, built Taplio. 12 months after launching, hit about 1 million in revenue. The math equated about 4,000 or 5,000 users. So it was awesome, man.
We spent the day with him in Austin, Texas to learn exactly how he attracts these opportunities into his life and business. It became clear when we started the day wakeboarding at 7 a.m. with his founder friends, joined him for a flight lesson, and peeked into his journey building $1 million business along the way.
So there were 5 kind of core things that we used in order to grow. I just want to live life on like playful out mode.
And how anyone could use these same exact tactics today.
Pick a product that already has product market fit and make it 10% better. Why, try and like overexert yourself to build something that you don't know if anyone wants?
But unfortunately, it was not always easy for Andy.
We looked at your bank accounts. I had $236 and he had negative, I think it was 13 or 30, one of those in his account. It was that crazy, and we didn't have a place to stay.
And what he learned in his journey helped him even more.
There's a little hack that we're used right now, which is like, I get actually lots of, that's what I'm doing, and then I'm getting them into my. So this is a long game, right?
And yeah, playful out, baby.
Playful out, baby, let's go.
In this video, Andy shares his exact playbook for micro acquisitions, affiliates, content, and other tactics they used in his last $1 million business. Plus, exactly what he's doing today for his brand new business. Let's dive in.
Yeah, how you doing?
Let's go. Andy, thank you for inviting us into your home, sharing more of your story. So tell me, where did all this business stuff begin for you?
So first business, my friend and I, right after college, we got accepted into this program called Startup Chile in South America in Santiago, Chile. So we said, what the heck? We're gonna get paid to start a business in a different country. Let's go down.
You just stayed in Chile forever, or how did
No. So we were in Chile for like a year, and then we sold that business, not for anything crazy. We were just basically trying to get out of Chile because we realized, holy crap, starting a business is hard, especially when you're doing solar and you got to do like a bunch of bureaucratic stuff. So we came back to the US, and I had this idea, and I was like, oh my gosh, when we were doing sales for the solar company, we were like, this is so manual and tedious. Like, how do you automate a lot of this? And I'm an engineer, right, by trade. So I was like, what can we do to automate this and like put emails in a sequence and do all that. And I was like, that's the problem that I found while building the other business, right? A friend, Joseph, had told me, hey, that's a great idea. There's these other guys here that just raise a little bit of cash that are doing exactly that. And that happened to be outreach, right? And so I was like, shoot, okay, cool. I interviewed with the founders, started working there. And yeah, I stayed there for about 7.5 years. Saw it grow from, pretty much zero to, 250 million. In revenue.
So not only were you learning the insides of this quickly growing business, you were also creating content.
I joined like the sales engineering side of the team. And so I was like, oh, this sales thing is interesting. So I did sales engineering as a transition to sales. I was like, well, you got to learn to sell stuff. So I did exactly that. I just started posting about sales stuff like on LinkedIn and did that. And I've done it every day for like 5 years or, 6 years. So yeah, that's kind of
daily for 5 or 6 years. And like today you have a couple 100,000 followers there. You're like a LinkedIn influencer. Why is like entrepreneurship important for you?
I've always just been like very curious as a kid. Like when I grew up, I grew up with a single mom from Mexico. And I think where it comes from, we grew up in a suburb of LA in the projects, and we always just had to get creative, man. I always just had to figure out things on my own. And so I think was nurtured that way. When I see something, a problem, I'm like, it's all figure outable, right? And like, I think that's a trait. Like I want my son, who's now 2, I don't want to just give him all the answers. Like, I'm going to push him to figure it out. Because when you see a problem, you're like, yeah, I can help solve that.
Yeah, you've done it before. And you're half Mexican?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People don't believe me, but I'm half Mexican.
I believe you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
What's up with you guys?
All right, y'all, so we're out here in Austin, Texas, doing a little bit of 7 a.m. wake surfing with Adam Robinson and Chris Walker. So yeah, just getting outside Friday morning. We're just out here having a good time.
We got the B2B LinkedIn influencer mafia. What would your advice be to younger entrepreneurs just starting out if you were just starting out again?
So my advice would be start posting frequently, because finding your voice in organic social media is the most efficient way to bring any product to any market that has ever existed in 2024. But it takes time. It may not be what you're selling right now that the voice that you find creates value in, but finding that voice is 10 times more powerful than any other thing that you could do.
All of my businesses and financial success got so much better when I started working out every day in the morning. And then a little bit more tactical is just knowing who your customer is and then being obsessed with like understanding them, involving them in the content creation. As an executive, being involved with the marketing, the sales, the product development, the customer success, the onboarding, and being able to see that whole experience is the last tip.
So what's like one of the biggest things that you've learned and that you're implementing in your business?
One of the biggest things I've learned is that you're no longer a product business making media, you're a media business selling a product. And that's kind of the mindset shift that you have to have, because especially in software, whereas like distribution is now king. 10 years ago, you used to try to find the 10X engineer. Now you're trying to find who's the 10X, marketer or person that can do distribution. The biggest mistake that people make is they're like, I gotta do everything at once. And then guess what? They burn out after 2 weeks and then they never do it again. Pick one, freaking go ham at it. Because every single platform has its own strategy. Like LinkedIn is 10 times different than what Instagram is. Like, right? I have no clue what to do on Instagram, right? It's video, it's like the hooks, like very, very important on the video. You can kind of get by without a great hook on LinkedIn and still do pretty well. And it's always evolving, right? And so you kind of have to like pick one. And I have like 2 people now just helping me run LinkedIn, right? So think about that, just making sure that we're doing it every day, 4 a.m. Pacific, the post is getting out, we're doing the right call to action, it's leading to signups to the app. So there's kind of a lot of moving parts, what the conversion rate is on those people coming from LinkedIn. So you're kind of thinking of like all this, and so it's a lot.
Since we have the LinkedIn Mafia right here, is there any like what specific tools are you guys using? Are you scheduling it? Are you like batching in a weeks at a time? Do you have like a Google Doc?
I've got a Google Doc of like the different kinds of posts. So one Google Doc is all text posts. It's probably 50 pages. And on those, I recycle all 50 of those text posts, to be honest with you. I've got a bunch of posts that I already know that work because I've just been doing it so long. So we kind of recycle those, maybe change a few things here and there. And then I have a separate doc that is image with text posts, and I know which ones do well there. And then I have a third doc with just like viral posts that I'm like, if we need to get some visibility, I know to do this post. It's kind of like clockwork on LinkedIn. Like, it will go viral because it's gone viral before. It's pretty hilarious. The next thing that I'll do a poll every day. Now, this is people are like, would you do a poll? Well, the poll, there's a little hack that you use right now, which is like, I get actually lots of link clicks for free off of a poll to a lead magnet that I have related to my product and my community that then gets them into my funnel. And I nurture them over time. I have a whole nurture sequence, and then that nurture sequence, then they're added to my newsletter. So I'm hitting them from like multiple angles. We had a baby and then like the nanny down there. It's like, no more being remote. This is Mitchell. Mitchell. This is the big daddy, dude.
We made it. We're back. We're just in the air, 8,000 feet. Definitely had some tailwinds up there. Tailwinds in your business.
Baby. Let's talk some tailwinds in business. Depends on what stage you're at, but.
Yeah. Well, I guess, how did you get started in the last company that you were involved with the exit?
Yeah, Taplio. So I knew Tom and Tebow just from being the internet, right? Just internet friends. And they saw I was like super hyped up on LinkedIn. And so they approached me and said, hey, we're thinking about building this new product for LinkedIn. And so I said, man, let's team up. So we teamed up, got together with those guys. 12 months after launching, hit about 1 million in revenue. So it was awesome, man.
What is Taplio?
Taplio, it's essentially a LinkedIn scheduling tool, just to make it super simple. Yeah, the big difference was that it used AI in order to help you create the content to schedule. And so we were early in using ChatGPT for content. We were one of the first schedulers for LinkedIn, because a lot of people, were building for Twitter or building for Instagram, and everyone was looking at LinkedIn and thought, oh my gosh, it's this like, LinkedIn's for, getting a job and just resumes, your online resume. And no one really thought of it like, oh no, it's a content creation place as well. There's different mental models you can use like when starting, businesses. And I think there's this huge emphasis right now on like finding product market fit, and just like pick a product that already has product market fit and make it 10% better. Like, why, try and like overexert yourself to build something that you don't know if anyone wants.
So when they approach you to join the team at Taplio and build this product, you were the customer. So you're like, oh, I would actually use this. And then you decide to join. And then you guys grew to $1 million in ARR in 12 months. Like, that's crazy. How'd you do that?
Man, well, there's a lot. First off, just a great team, right? Like a great team as usual. So I think a few things. One, we like leveraged personal brand, right? All of ours, right? And that kid, Tebow was building more on Twitter. I was on LinkedIn, right? And so the second thing was lead magnets. I call it the stepping stone strategy. So building mini offerings that are free that lead people to your main software offering. Very similar to like the low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket offering where you start with a low ticket, then you upsell people. But with software, you know, there's a similar concept, which is like, you know, how do you build like a free lead magnet? So in this case, there was like LinkedIn carousel generator. We would take your Twitter threads and make a LinkedIn carousel out of them that you can post on LinkedIn. But after people posted on LinkedIn, or after they made the carousel, what do they want to do with it?
Schedule it.
They want to schedule it. So after they make it, you go, hey, you want to schedule this bad boy? You know, right? So that's like, so you have to kind of think of that, because when you build certain products, like there can be a lot inside the product that people have to learn, right? And so if you can kind of inch your way towards teaching them like, okay, here's where we need to get to in order to get the full offering, it's great. And so another one this was Tebow's idea, where Tebow basically we acquired this tool called like LinkedIn viral post generator. And again, this is like when ChatGPT first came out. So it was still new. Right now you can say like, create me a viral post on LinkedIn. It'll do the same, ChatGPT will do the same thing. Yeah, so there were 5 kind of core things that we use in order to grow: lead magnets, personal brand, micro acquisitions, affiliates, and the influencer model, right? Like getting influencers to post about the product. So those were the 5, but the top 3 were, I would say, that really moved the needle initially were like the lead magnets. The micro acquisition was kind of a good, nice little bump. And then as well as like using our brand every day to push the product.
What do you think the biggest lesson that most founders don't realize, or what do you think the biggest lesson that you have learned at this point is?
You are no longer a product company making media to promote your product. You're a media company making media to promote your product. So you are now a media company making a product. So it's media first, and like everyone is media first. You have to be media first if you want to succeed. And so that's why you'll see me and others harping on this whole content thing. And then second is, so there's this thing called the large market formula, which is essentially that only 3% of your target market is ready to buy. And that means 97% is a stage that is not ready to buy. Some might be a little closer, that are problem aware. Think how you buy stuff, right? Some things you're like, you go on Amazon and you're like, shit, I'm gonna buy it now, I need it now. Like my sink broke or whatever, I need to buy it now, right? Like, but then other times you're like, ooh, there's this cool little toy or gadget that I want. I'm quite ready, but I'm thinking about it. Think like your own Amazon purchase style, right? And they know this. Amazon knows this. That's why they feed you certain things more often than else. Okay, what does this mean? This means if you go back to thinking about your content on LinkedIn, the reason I'm not doing content is so I can get a flood of inbound leads, people saying, hey, let's buy now. Sure, that's great. But no, when people are ready to buy, guess who the first person they're going to think of for digital sales rooms is? It's going to be me. The third one, it's so important to study the market that you're going to be entering, right? And I'm not talking like MBA, how big is the market? And like, like what are people saying in that market? What don't they like about the current solutions? What do the reviews say? What do the good ones say? What people like? What do the 3 stars say? And then what do the terrible ones say? Honestly, look at what competitors are doing and see how you can make it better. That's how I study the market. I reverse engineer.
Do you go to specific websites or tools? Or
there's a number of them. It depends what you're looking for. So, for example, if I have a competitor that's running ads and I'm like, oh shit, like you can look at their ads and you can see like they're getting a lot of likes on these. Like they're getting shares, they're getting likes. That's probably working. And that's speaking. So let me go, you can go to literally Facebook ad library, type in their name and see all the ads that they're running and how long they've been running the ads. And then scroll down and see the ones that they've been running for at least a couple months. Because guess what? If they're still running those ads, that means those ads are making money, right? Because you're not gonna keep running an ad that's not making money.
So maybe you have like 2 most important skills for founders?
It's so important to study the market that you're gonna be entering. So I look at kind of like, there's AppSumo and there's Product Hunt today. Those are like the main 2 that I'll go look at for like, what are people building right now? But I look to see like, what's trending? What are people wanting? And like, comments are gold. That's kind of the way I look at it. It's like market feedback, almost like free market feedback. What are people saying in that market? What don't they like about the current solutions? What do the reviews say? What do the good ones say? What people like? What do the 3-stars say? And then what do the terrible ones say? That is what I mean by study the market, is like, there's always a bigger market for most things than people think. If I was starting out, I would do these 3 things. Number 1, I would study copywriting and people's different copywriting, even if it's people on LinkedIn, Gary Halbert, Eugene Schwartz. Like, study a couple copywriting books. You don't need to memorize them, but just look at what good copy looks like, right? One of my friends, George, he says like, hey, go look at the top landing pages and write them by hand, right? And see what they're doing. And I agree, that's one thing. Now, why do you study copywriting? Copywriting is going to be, in writing in general, is the number 1 skill for everything else you're going to do in business. Communication, emails, building a personal brand on LinkedIn, right? Like, and look, when I say copywriting, most people think it's like how to use a semicolon. I still don't know how to use a semicolon, dude. Or a hyphen, like when you should actually, I don't know the correct way to do it. But I've been still able to build a good following online with mostly just copy, right? No video, just text.
Why are we here? Like, why are you getting your pilot's license? Like, it's cool, but like, why are you doing it?
I'm getting my pilot's license for a couple reasons. One, I've just always wanted to do it. So there's never a perfect time to do anything. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. It's convenient. Second thing is I'm always kind of like looking for ways to like do things differently. Like, quite honestly, I would love to like take clients out and be like, hey, you want to go flying? Let's go flying. And then like, yeah, it was awesome. And after that, you're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna do business together or not. But most importantly is like, I just want to live life on like playful out mode. Matt Millen, who worked very closely with Tony Robbins for a while, sent me to a Tony Robbins event. I thought it was woo-woo initially, but then I went, I'm like, actually, like the stuff this guy preaches is all pretty like point, like energy, relationships, like all this stuff is on point. And one of their big things is like playful out. So when you do something, like how you do anything is how you do everything. It's kind of what they say. I live my life, when I do something, I just go all in.
What else is working for you, or what are some scrappy marketing things that people watching can give them some ideas to use for their own business?
Oh yeah, I mean, for us, so what we're gonna do is like, I think people really craving like in-person events. The obvious thing that we do, that most people will do for in-person events, is like host a dinner, right? And that, you host a dinner at a nice steakhouse and you get people in a round table. I just like to do things, as I mentioned earlier, like memorable and different. And we meet at a point, we go on a fun run, and it's people all working in the same industry, tech, right? Coming back, and we like to surprise people with some stuff. So for this particular fun run, we had a mariachi waiting at the end of the run, as well as tacos being served. So people loved it. We were taking photos. They were like, what's Distribute? This is awesome. And it just created this amazing awareness. And I'm like, okay, this was a good test. People digged it. They thought it was definitely quirky, different, but like they all were posting it on their Instagram, tagging me, all that fun stuff. And so it was just a fun way to create awareness. And so now what we're going to do is we're like, all right, well, how do we do that around the country? And how do we latch on to where our ICP lives? So all these tech events, SaaStr, Dreamforce, all this fun stuff. We're going to start to tie some fun in-person events there.
Or is entrepreneurship easy?
Entrepreneurship is not easy. No. Honestly, why do this stuff? I don't know what else I would do. Like that's the honest answer. I don't know what else I'd do. I like the unpredictability, right? Of like what's going to happen. It's kind of an adrenaline rush. And, big risk, big reward, I think is the big one.
And yeah, playful out, baby.
Playful out, baby. Let's go.
Andy, this is awesome. Thanks for inviting us into your home. People check out distribute.so.
Yeah.
Any final words for somebody listening to this and is inspired by your story and wants to learn a little bit more?
My last and final words. Playful out, baby. I'm going to say it again. That's all you got to do, baby. Playful out, all right? That's
Playful out.
All right.